You could feel the lust for knowledge that once drove him and her too.
Yeah. That's what I feel when I look at my witch too, is a lust for knowledge. Yeah. Wait, witch and wizard lore? I don't even know witches and wizards lore. I'll give him a shot. Let's see.
For some of you, Elvia might be a term
Oh, thank God, he's got a good voice.
you're already familiar with. Be it through the Serendia and Calpheon grind spots, or through quests in Odilita or other regions. While we know quite a few different worlds and realms, Elvia is special. While currently it is under control of the god Hadum, if we go far back in its history, it was ruled by 3 ancient spirits, Narg, Valtara.
There's no way you guys just asked me for gear help literally 2.5 hours before the entire DR and evasion system gets reworked for BDO. Are you joking right now?
And Okiara, together with the goddess Sylvia, the mother of all elves. However, Hadum was
Mommy?
not the one who drove them away to our world. It were the actions of another powerful god. The name of said god was Godiaid, the god of depravity and destructive light. The same being whose power we used to strengthen our Blackstar weapons and who is now trapped in the Blackstar meteor at Star's End. But how he ended up there is not the topic of today's video. For today, we will be looking on
Godder is not a person, it's a god. Wake up.
what happened in Elvia during Godiaid's reign. We will be looking at the lore of Witch and Wizard, the prodigies of Elvia.
Hey guys. Hey Blue, why do you play witch? No reason in particular.
Weirdly enough, it seems that during the reign of Godiaid, which came to be after Sylvia was pushed out of the realm by him, humans were at the forefront of civilization. And while we don't know how humans came to Elvia, we do know of 3 very important individuals whom the endless pursuit of knowledge set the pace for all other researchers during their time. These 3 sages were keen to find and gather all the knowledge in the world, so they founded the Godiaid Thea, an institution for researchers to come together and explore the truths of the universe. One of these 3 founders was Lord Red, who was seen by many as the most talented of the 3.
The Lord Red outfit. Oh.
His name should be familiar for anyone that has scoured through the Pearl Shop, as this is an outfit for wizard that depicts his past glory. His most widely known achievement was the creation of the first ever magic tool, a Sphera. This first version he named Godesphera, after the institution itself.
And only
Through
men
this
were
invention-
allowed to use it. Then he made the lesser Sphera called the Ad Sphera, and only bitches were allowed to use that. That's the one that I have.
He soon became able to commune with 2 primal guardians of the elements he was studying. Mark, the guardian of fire, providing incomprehensible destructive powers, and Arne, the guardian of water, who
What
offered
is
his
that?
mind rest and sustenance.
Holy!
However, many members of his organization soon after began to doubt him and his intentions, out of fear of the destructive and uncontrollable power of Mark that even Lord Red could barely contain. But he didn't care for their foolish accusations, and simply continued on with his research. However, the suspicions of the people would not fade. It went so far that they started to credit Mark for Lord Red's achievements, and soon after, the institution denounced him and declared him a madman who was blinded by power. Enraged by these actions, Lord Red started threatening to take over the institution, but after nobody believed his words, he decided to make his threats reality. Nobody in the institution stood a chance against the combined powers of Mark and Lord Red. However, when he reached the Grand Wizard's chamber,
That was a good shot, but it kind of takes away from it because the guard is just standing there like, yo, bro, you done?
powers of Mark and Lord Red. However, when he reached the Grand Wizard's chamber, the defense mechanism of the Academy activated, trapping him in a distorted space of dimension. Neither an hour nor Elvia's world anymore, he was now encased in an endless void with no means of escape. Trapped within this space, the power of Mark continued to take a toll on his body and mind. The pain made him wake from the coma he fell into moments after being confined into the space, and he desperately began trying to regain control over Mark's power. After a long struggle, he succeeded, but the effort aged his physical form significantly, making him look like an old man. Now, without even the pain of Mark, he spent an eternity in his confined space, feeling the loss
So how did he become young again?
of his senses slowly driving him insane.
So let me get this straight. The guy was aged like 100 years, but the girl, she just spawned in at 24 years old.
But
And they didn't bother, yeah, changing that.
suddenly, he felt the presence of someone else close to his prison. A witch from the same world he once called home. He could feel the lust for knowledge that once drove him and her too.
Yeah. That's what I feel when I look at my witch too, is a lust for knowledge. Yeah.
How he was, he could not warn the witch, who drew closer and closer towards his prison. He suddenly felt something again. Fear. He feared for this gatherer of knowledge, for this witch that reminded him so much of his former self, to go down the same path as he did, and be trapped in this space forever.
Yeah, so that's why she's doomed
As
to
a
be
last
worse than him in
effort
every way.
to save the witch, he destroyed his Gaudiosfera, resulting in a gargantuan explosion that ripped apart the boundaries of time and space and swept both him and the witch away. When, to his own surprise, he opened his eyes again, he was staring at the face of an old man. When he tried to reach out to the old man's face, his fingers started to sink into it. Just now he noticed he looked at his own reflection on the surface of a big lake. For the first time in a long time, he felt hopeful again, and he could not stop thinking how he felt like this very lake saved his humanity. This is the story of how Lord Red, the powerful sage of Elvia, appeared in our world and became the wizard we can play in-game.
I'll be honest, I got lost. I learned nothing.
However, during the same time in Elvia, there was another prodigy we need to talk about. A woman called Deneve. As all female sages, she was given the title of witch. She was part of a sister institution
Burn her! It works better because Wizard has the fire.
of the Godii
She's a witch!
Thea called the Breve. This was nothing out of the ordinary, as there were other smaller institutions with different viewpoints on what parts of research they wanted to specialize in. Deneve was a special witch, however. Her incredible intellect and creativity led her to discover how to conjure magic to teleport from one point to another. And this discovery was so
But only together though. She's not creative enough or intuitive enough to do this one and then wait and then do this one. She can only do them together because she's a idiot.
important at the time that from that point onwards it became a basis of every sage's and a witch's education. However, even as a genius, she held certain beliefs that many others
Genius.
found hard to agree with. She was convinced that Elvia was not the only world that existed, and was certain that there were others out there left for them to discover. She poured all her efforts into proving her theories,
Oh no, she's retarded. Oh no.
but even for a prodigy like her, this was no easy task. But not all of her research remained fruitless. Through much effort, she was able to commune with the spiritual embodiments of earth and lightning. Earth took the form of a golem out of the purest stone,
Gore's so cute.
while lightning formed more humanoid shape as a
He's kinda
floating
whatever.
silhouette of an adult human out
He's-
of Tet. An
Yeah, make
element
sure you
of the
enunciate
highest
that.
conductivity only members of the Gaudii Thea were able to create. She started to modify a Sphera, a magic
Oh, off in Tet. Wait, hold on. He explained off in Tet. Hold on.
an element of the highest conductivity silhouette of an adult human out of Tet. An element of the highest conductivity only members of the Gaudii Thea were able to create.
I see.
She started to modify a Sphera, a magical tool able to transfer energies to allow her to harness the power of the two elementals. She named her new invention the Arts Phara, after Arts Pharos, the subject that Labrief specialized in. Art is a form of communication, and Pharos, for anyone unfamiliar with Latin, means lighthouse. In this context, the lighthouse is simply a form of magic, making the Arts Pharos a type of communication magic.
Okay, that's interesting.
Through this invention and communing with the elements, she finally found a clue about another world. This might be the only chance I ever get, she thought to herself.
Wait a minute.
Although great risk was involved in trying to traverse dimensions with no prior training, she had to do it.
Wait.
This was what her entire research, her entire life, was always destined for. With no hesitation left in her, she focused on her Sphera and teleported into the unknown.
Why can't I go to other dimensions?
White, pure light. Her senses became instantly overloaded
Blinded.
through the deafening noises and bright lights she saw and heard around her. Then silence and near complete darkness. Everything around her was only illuminated by a faint light coming from a small orb from the sky. She didn't know what this was, but it left an image in her mind she would never forget.
It's called the moon, dumbass.
Unbeknownst to her, this was the first time she ever witnessed a night. Everything was so foreign, yet she also felt the presence of someone else from Elvia that walked this world
This bitch is supposed to be smart, bro. She looked up at the moon. She's like, what's that?
before her, and she set herself the goal to find this mysterious person who succeeded in the improbable feat of crossing worlds even before her. While searching for this individual, she noticed a crack in the dimension. A point in space that should not exist, but for some reason did. However, when she tried to approach it, she suddenly got sucked in. Just now she realized the grave mistake she made, that she would be unable to escape out of this rift that was meant as a prison for someone else. But at that moment she was suddenly catapulted away from it. The rift had mysteriously imploded, she was caught up right in the shockwave, for better or worse. When she awoke again, she had no memory of her past anymore. All she could remember was that the place around her felt somehow very familiar. And that is the lore of Wizard, Lord Red, and the Witch, Deneve, two researchers of incredible intellect from the world of Elvia that both somehow, be it voluntarily or involuntarily, found a way to our world. Yet this story holds still many mysteries. If Lord Red was trapped while Deneve traveled the world, who was the real first pioneer from Elvia in our world? Tet, the pure element of Elvia, is supposedly only be able to be created by members of the Godi Althea with sufficient education. Yet if Lord Red was not the person responsible for the creation of Tet, who was? And lastly, Kafras, a Luthragon from Elvia, met people of a group calling themselves.
Wait, that art is crazy. Wait, this art is insane.
Met people of a group calling themselves the Deneve. Were they cultists trying to escape their world just like Deneve left Elvia long before them? However, we have not found answers to these questions yet. So just like the sages of Elvia, we will have to keep looking for them, wherever that may take us. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be streaming on Twitch soon, so if you have any questions, you can come to the chat or just write them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye.
Is that true? Did he end up streaming on Twitch? Because this video is like 2 months old. Here's the video right here. And we determined that that was a lie. All right. Well, that's the video right there. You guys can go subscribe to it. The lore stuff is very interesting. I wish he made more videos like this so that I don't like I like listening to videos like that, like while I'm grinding and stuff. They're great videos for that. I do not want to like go read all that stuff, you know what I mean? I'd like a Guardian lore. Well, I'm gonna do something similar but different for BDO's ecosystem. I'll do something for that.